I see what you can't see. So what looks to be the crescent moon is not the crescent moon. Same thing with the Muslim Red Cross thing. They have a crescent moon, right? That to me isn't the moon. That is a representation of Nibiru, the planet you cannot see. You've got the sun you can see, and the sun you can't see. And well, you can't just leave it blank. So you've got to give something there to outline the shape of it, of what you need to look for, and to also allegorically represent that you cannot typically see it, only by its effects. One that walks between worlds. A dark star is going to be a little hard to see in a dark background, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, burning white star is easy to see on a black background. You look up in the sky every day and you see it. So these crescent moon type things, that's not the moon at all to me. That doesn't feel right anymore. That hasn't felt right for a long time. And this is really, for me, it's nailing it home. And what I'm seeing here is an example, like the Nibiru sky disk is technically an old version of a snapshot. Think of it as a Flintstones photograph of the sky when Nibiru came through. And this disk was found in Gossach, Germany in 1999. It's from a Bronze Age settlement. And the guy that did the research on it was great. The only thing I thought he erred on was the fact that he thought it was the moon that was being represented. What does the moon have anything to do with the sun and the stars and Nibiru? Nothing. And everything. Right? So on the right side, you see Capricorn, Christ consciousness. That represents to me the Ark of the Covenant, and it's a nice little ark to show you that it's not a long trip that Nibiru makes. And of course, right beside the Nibiru symbol, at the bottom it's got the dish, and of course the H of Orion inside that dish. So there's your masculine Luciferian intent that you need to get rid of. It's got some planets listed there, and he lets you know what they are. I wasn't really that concerned about that. And then to the left, you have the sun. And to the left of that, you have the Gemini constellation. And it looks in the shape of a crown. So you got to put your own crown back on. That's a spiritual crown. See, Gemini is a representation of the spirit only. Right? That's why they took the Twin Towers down and tried to destroy the spirit, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. It was also a great clue for wake up. It's all about the Gemini spirit. Thank you. Good. I love that. So it's all good and evil at the same time. You just got to pull a victory out of it. So what are we left with here? Well, above you have the Pleiades, the seven sisters of the Pleiades, and Perseus overlooking them. So it plays out, for me, it plays out perfectly. And the only way you're going to get through this is to know you are of the Christ mind. This is what the teachers were teaching. Have all along. I just listened to them. So don't take my word for it. I'm just sharing the same stuff from a slightly goofier, I love the goofy part, anagogic, from a more, well, I'll say it, more down to earth. I'm of the street. I'm of the common, So I'll say it in a way that I understand it, and I can help others to understand it as well. I'm not going to talk to you like some hoity-toity intellectual. I can sit around and play with them all day long. They're boring people. Oh, they're very smart, so am I. Who cares? You're boring. Pick up a guitar or something, man. Get creative. Right? Intellectual is easy. And those that are stuck in the intellectual mind trap are stuck in the intellectual mind trap. They're the ones that are still playing around in their puzzle box looking at all the pieces. It's a puzzle, guys. You're supposed to put the fucking thing together, So grab a table, sit down, and start assembling that puzzle of yours. And here's the thing. You're the pieces, as am I the piece. Okay? So the piece I brought to the table was a cornerstone. You remember that corner piece of your puzzle you're looking for? Just to make sure it was all together? That's what it is. There it is. There's your corner piece, your cornerstone. That makes all the other pieces connect. And you can put them in any way you want. They all connect. It really is that simple. So what does the Gemini represent on this Nibiru sky disk? Well, it represents a spirit protecting the sun. That's the crown of the spirit of self. Right? And what is the war? It's between masculine and feminine. And you've got 4 planets in the middle, so there's a representation of the quad. And then there's one other planet way off by itself. Interesting. So there's your feminine, the Pleiades, and your masculine, Orion. as above, so below, divided and conquered. Now, Bill Donahue in his video that I posted, I'm going to get the mics open very shortly here, guys. I just wanted to cover this, make sure I've got it at least on one show, as much of this, pulling it together as I possibly can. Where was it going? Facebook. I just reposted it. But the video Bill Donahue did, The Strange Ones Taught Us, when you watch the beginning of it, you'll see him draw two circles, and there's he does a line between it, showing it as the negative and positive, with the electron stream joining both of them to make them one, the yin, the yang together, the male, female together. And then I'm watching Music Player. I think it's Music Player. I'll have to look it up, make sure I get his moniker right, so that you can go and reference his work. It's some beautiful. He's got eyes, man. This guy's got eyes to see way past. Beautiful. That's the thing, is I've got great ears. I can see stuff too, but my spirit trick is more focused on sonic versus visual, right? So I'm always looking for people that have that. Oh, look at you! Look what you can see, right? And I go, oh yeah, I can see it too, because I'm looking to see what they see. Because as soon as someone tells me, you're not going to believe what I'm going to show you, I'm going, I want to see this. I'm not going to accept that, because I say it all the time. You're not going to believe how simple this game is. Lose a legal name mentally, and your game's over. But you fucking believe me. You're still what effing all day long. But that's the truth. Okay, so yeah, the video is The Strange Ones That Taught Us. At the beginning, you'll see these two circles that Bill does, and at the very end, he talks about the masters. And of course, there was the culmination point when he started. Thank you, Bill. You reminded me at such a perfect moment that Pythagoras outlined, and Sansa talked about this too, outlined the planets as the musical scale. And of course, it had to be so obvious that I wasn't quite looking at it. Of course, my whole life revolves around music. That's my heart, soul. And then I drew this thing out, and there it was. And of course, Planet X makes total sense. We've been talking about the quad. X marks the spot. Phoenician X in a circle is the capital letter T, which is law of truth. Law of truth coming in for that brief 3 days. Sounds like Judgment Day to me. What do you think? Anyway, so those were just a few of the ideas that was tossed around. There's a whole lot more. There's only one constellation out there. It's Cygnus. There's just variations of Cygnus. That's why the ancients all looked at Cygnus, because every constellation was a variation of the divine feminine swan. That's why that was the only one that they looked at. Why do you think the Roman Church changed it over to Orion and started worshiping things like Peter, Jew Peter, right? Penis, obelisks, phallus, palace. It's all about that. Let's get into raping little boys and girls too now. That's scum and make papal bulls and stuff, and all the rest of this nonsense of such an aberrated mind and reality that came into play here. Right? So have a look at what you're playing with. Go ahead, worship the Pope. Worship all of these fucking false idols. Worship all of these fallen ones. Because here's the thing. I know the Pope and 8 cardinals sat around to talk about Babylon is fallen. You don't hear him talking about, hey, everybody, I love you all. Stop using the legal name. Have you heard him say that? Didn't think so. But then again, I have to look at the other side of it going, well, these people, I don't know who they are. I don't know them personally. They're all part of this mastered plan of creation. What's to say they're being quiet to make sure that the ones that don't know this information, that need to be wiped out, get it? So it's a double-edged sword every time. So I'm always looking for good and evil in it. So don't get polarized on this. Don't, hate the Vatican and hate this. And no, I can look at it and see exactly what's going on and see the good in it and be grateful for it, because I don't know what role they're playing. Are they just playing the really nasty, the Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction that I can never watch another movie with her in it because she did the role so well? Is that what we're looking at? So these are the questions I ask myself to keep me in a neutral position so that I'm not going, oh, that's, wait a minute, stop there. That's where you catch any form of fluffy trying to polarize you, right? So with one constellation, I'm doing full circle here, one constellation of Cygnus, well, it has to come back to one dot, right? I'd say the first thing we do is create a dot as creation, and then we'd add another one, and then we'd make look, bird. Our first creation is a bird, the Ibi, the high mind, the Nibi Uru, the infinitely my EB, the high mind, and the Uru, which is the physical. EB is spiritual mind. Uru is, call it for what it is, reptilian physical, okay? All things physical, right? Because the Uru were the reptilians and the EB were the bird people, allegories. Whether they're real or not doesn't matter to me. You know, Quetzalcoatl, feathered serpent, who cares? I wasn't there. I can't prove it. What I can do is look at all the literal clues and not ever take them literally, because I know it's just an illusion. And I'm going to put my pieces of the puzzle together and go, hey, this is what I see, guys. And then we sit around the table so that I can start opening your mics up right now.